Hey y'all, it's Aprille Franks. Welcome back to I'm So Frank. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about how do you overcome being hurt. Let's go.
Yeah, we're gonna be on top, oh, on top of the world, gonna be on top, oh.
So, this question came to me from one of my people inside of my business community, and they said, how do you overcome being hurt? How do you forgive? How do you move past things and not hold animosity? And let me see what else she said. Hold on, I want to make sure I get it all right. Yes, so that you can, how do you not become jealous and move forward? Now, I don't have context to this, so I want to talk about hurt as a whole. I'm going to share an experience on how I have dealt with hurt and pain, sorrow, and those things, and how I move forward. And then you can adopt, if you will, if it feels good for you, some of the things that I've done to help me. The first thing you need to know about me is that I'm a seeker, right? I'm a seeker of feeling good feelings and having good thoughts, having great experiences. So I don't want to feel hurt. I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to walk around feeling bad, right? That doesn't feel good. And I think our sole job on the planet is to make sure that we feel good, which means that when we show up places, then that's going to emit, all around us. And that's when you hear people say, man, you're such a ray of light, or you're so positive. You have such great energy. And I hear those things from people all the time. So an instance where I would say I was hurt, and we can use that in any instance, right? In a marriage, in a relationship, in the workplace, with your children, with family members, right? So for me, let's just say a heartbreak or something like that. And how do you get past that? Because it sounds like, and I don't know, but it sounds like some infidelity, because she talked about jealousy and moving on. So let's just say that that's what it is for the sake of this. I think it really depends on what you subscribe to and what belief system you subscribe to. And I'm not necessarily talking about religion either. I'm just saying, what do you subscribe to? When something occurs in your life, what does that actually mean? Right? What meaning are you giving the occurrence? And I'm not saying that you don't have the right to feel the way you feel. I'm just saying, how much weight are the things that occur in our life? How much weight are we giving it? And so you have to first establish your bar for what is your belief, right? About things happening. Do you believe that they are coincidences? Do you believe that they're for your greater good? Do you believe that people come in your life for a reason, season, or a lifetime? So I think you really got to get really clear on your personal values so that you understand, like, what does that look like? Because then it really gives meaning to what you give meaning to, right? It really helps define that. So for me, I believe that everything happens for a reason and that things are always working out for me. And because I believe that things are always working out for me, when something happens that feels hurtful, then it helps me ask the question, what's on the other side of this for me? Now, in the middle of it, when you're hurting and you're crying and you're snotting and you're not eating or you're overeating or whatever, it may be a challenge to get to that place. And again, a lot of this just comes with repetition. It comes with practice. It comes with unlearning a lot of the habits that we learn to cope with specific things. So when something happens in your life, I think the first thing you are allowed to do is feel however you're feeling in the moment, right? So someone does something offensive to you, someone breaks a boundary, someone breaks an agreement or something like that in a relationship where you have established, that this is the boundary. And this is what feels good. This is what's acceptable for this specific situation. You have the right to feel however you want. Now, I always give myself 72 hours. So if I want to be sad, mad, depressed, angry about anything, right, I get the weekend. That's it. I'm not belaboring. I'm not processing it. I'm just not going to be in the state of hurt for a long time. Right? That state of disappointment and sadness for a long time, right? I want to start to really rely on my tools and different things that I need. So whether that's reading, listening to certain audiobooks or YouTube videos or positive friends and conversations or meditation, things that are going to uplift me so that I can start to objectively see what this was about and not necessarily, again, being reactive to it, but how can I respond to this hurt? what would my highest and best self, if I was the person God intended me to be, or the person that was the best version of me, how would that person respond to this situation? And so when you start to practice this and view things from a specific, a higher valued lens, then you actually end up hurting less. Things that would hurt you before may not hurt you now. And you know this to be true because it's already happened in some area of your life. Chances are you've evolved since you were 20 or 15 or 30 or 40, depending on your age right now at the time that you're watching this. So for me, I think practicing paying attention to how you feel and what sets you off is really important. So when someone does something that feels hurtful, the second thing I do is I look at them from the lens of, let's say, and again, I'm not pushing my religious beliefs on you, but this is what I believe. How would God look at the person? And every time, that always brings me to the place where I know how actually disconnected or overwhelmed or broken that person is. It doesn't excuse their behavior. It just helps me not to feel like a victim, right? Because I'm not a victim. You're not a victim. Now, have we been victimized? Maybe, right? But it flips it so that I'm empowered by whatever happened as opposed to feeling like I was victimized, even if I was victimized. Because the truth of the matter is we do have to find a way to reconcile some of the things that happened to us, reconcile some of those hurts, reconcile the worst of pains, right? Which could be betrayal, humiliation, abandonment. So for myself, I think it's really important, again, to be in tune with yourself. And then that enables you to handle different things that come in your life that may not be so hurtful. And then some shit just is. And even with that still, the questions are still the same. What's on the other side of this for me? And if the offense came from a person, how would God look at that person in this moment? Like, seriously. Another thing is, depending on your belief system, when you start asking yourself some of these questions, you start to realize how immature sometimes we respond to specific things or how much weight we actually give some of these things in our life. And I think also when we are hurt, I think it's a good place to ask ourselves, why? Why does this hurt me? Why does this make me sad? Why does this make me feel the way it makes me feel? Because the answering those questions, I'm telling you, is going to be so helpful to how you develop, how you respond, how people respond to you, and it helps you make healthier choices. The more questioning you ask of yourself, then you start to make healthier choices. So then you can move forward, right? You don't have to be jealous about any situation. Why? Because that is their path. And I think that's the one thing that's kind of hard about life to really understand, is that everybody is on their own journey, and sometimes you're just not in it. Like, you're just not a part of it. Like you were the lesson. I know, right? It's like, damn, I was a lesson for somebody. Yeah, boo-boo. For somebody, you was the lesson. And I think sometimes we try to hold on to everything for such a long time, and we just got to remember that many things in life, like milk, have an expiration date. And it's not because it wasn't good. It was good and nurturing while it was good and nurturing, if you believe that about milk, which that's a whole nother video. But we just have to recognize that everything has its time. And then it helps you move forward. So there is no jealousy because you recognize your value. You can only feel jealous when you don't value yourself. Like, I was with a man who he really was a womanizer. And when I really understood and learned the magnitude of which he was womanizing, I didn't feel jealous. I just felt like, damn, that's really sad for you. His behavior didn't have anything to do with me. So the jealousy, right, doesn't come into play. Jealousy only comes into play when we don't value ourselves. And that makes it difficult because we want to make the feeling about the other person and not about how you really value yourself, because that's the hardest fucking thing to look at in the mirror. And that's the thing women don't even want to admit or say, that you're not confident, you're insecure, and that you're jealous of another person or situation or lifestyle. So those things, and that's what you want to fortify. And that's why this channel exists, to be honest with you. I hope that by tuning into these videos that you feel empowered, that you can laugh a bit, you know, that you can learn something so that you can make some sort of change inside of your own life. Because there should be no jealousy, because you hold everything you need to hold for who's going to see value in you. But you have to first see it in yourself in order for, in order to be not impacted when shit happens. Let me tell you something. I have been in the space of circular dating, and I learn quicker and quicker, which is a whole nother video. Do y'all want that video? Let me know. Do you want the circular dating video? Because I can give it to you. But I've been in this space where I'm just like, I'm learning faster to let people go, not to hold on where there's no space for that. And I'm only learning that because I'm immersing myself in that experience. So it's like, you remember the one time you were hurt and you was a hot mess, and then the next time maybe it wasn't as bad? You're just developing a muscle of your own worth. And that's really what you have to do. So for me, there is no jealousy. The value for you is already there. Moving forward becomes a part of the plan. That everyone that is in your life is there to teach you something about yourself. And sometimes it doesn't feel that great. And sometimes it does. And we have to treat both of them with the same type of energy. The same type of energy. So practice every single day, loving yourself more, listening to yourself more, honoring your desires more. And when things happen in your life, you'll find yourself not being as concerned, not being as clingy, not trying to hold on as long, so that you can move on, so that you can move forward to what is next for you, because that's what life is about. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much, Marcia, for asking me to answer this question for you. If y'all have any questions, you can let me know in the comments below. I'll be happy to do a video on it. And remember, my name is Aprille Franks, and you've been tuning into I'm So Frank. I'll see you in the next video.
On top of the world.